Hi guys, welcome to our channel. For myself and my daughter, we'll be taking on reading challenges, reading books and going through a list of books that we have read in the past and the upcoming future. To start off with, what I want to do for my first video is go through a list of books that I've read by the legendary Stephen King. My main challenge is essentially to read all of his books and all of his collection, and my daughter has just literally started reading a second one, I believe. So I'm going to go through a list of books that I have already read, brief count on what they're about, and give them a rating. So the first one was the first novel I did ever write, was Carrie. I thought it was alright. I don't think it's his best book, but it's a short book, probably 200 to 300 pages max. It's really not, you could read it easily, read it in a day. About a girl that starts high school. Basically she gets bullied, but she's got supernatural powers. Most of you have probably seen the film, most of you have probably read the book. Obviously there's the famous pig blood scene in the film. I would personally give that 3 out of 5. Like I say, it's good, but it's not my favourite book. My second one is what I've read is Cujo. So Cujo is about a dog that gets bit by a rat. He gets rabies. A family go to the house and they basically get trapped in their car while this dog's trying to attack them. The main plot of the story is this family escaping the farm without getting attacked by the dog. I personally like this book. I would give it a 4 out of 5. The film is pretty good as well. I believe all the books that I've read, there is a film based on them. I'd give that 4 out of 5. So Cujo is probably one of my top 5 books that I have read out of it. Next one, The House of the Dragon. Same again, more of a medieval kind of style book. I liked it, but if you're not into the medieval castle dragon kind of thing, probably not for you, but I'd give that a 3 out of 5. Not my favourite, but I personally enjoyed that book. The other one what I read, this was my first ever book when I was about 16. It's a book called The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. Basically a girl gets lost in the woods and she's obsessed with a baseball player called Tom Gordon. And it's basically her pretending that he's there with her to get her out of the woods basically. So the police, her family are looking for her, and the only way she survives is she pretends that she's with her favourite baseball player, and that basically just gets her through the trauma of being lost. Short book is, like I say, it's probably the same size as what Carrie is. Easily smash it out in a day or two. I'll give that 4 out of 5. Not too bad of a book. And then we've got Cell, also a film. This for me is a 2 out of 5. I really didn't like Cell. I thought it was a boring book. It's basically about a disease that goes through a cell phone, kind of like a cancer. And they're trying to leave the city, basically trying to get away from the disease, trying to find out how it started. I finished it. It took me a while to read it because I did get bored through it. I believe I even started reading the second book while I was reading this one. Not my favourite, but some of you might enjoy it. Dumb Keys, my next one on the list. It's a really good book. It's about a guy in Florida. He gets isolated in his own little cabin, and he's an artist, paints pictures. Everything that he paints comes to life, or he predicts the future. So for example, he might paint a car crash and then that happens to someone. It's a really good book. I would give that 5 out of 5 because I really enjoyed that book, and that was a book that I couldn't put down. Next on the dome. If any of you have seen the Simpsons movies, kind of like that. Massive dome gets put off a village. They get trapped in the village. And then it goes on little stories for each individual person in the village. Some characters you really start to like, some characters you really start to dislike. I believe that's also a TV series. That's a really good book. I'll give that a 4 out of 5. It's quite a big one. It's one of his biggest books, I think. It's about 1,000 pages long, but that's worth reading. Another book is called Full Dark, No Stars. That's basically 3 little mini stories in that book. Each and every one of them's quite good. I believe that's the one. There's one about some rats in it, a bit like the plague. And then there's a story in there I believe about a guy that murders his wife and buries her in a well. I really can't remember what the third one is. But that was a really good book. I remember I read that in about 2 or 3 nights because that was one of my favourite books. Or one of them books you just wanted to keep reading to see what happens. And finally, I've then got Mr. Mercedes and Finders Keepers. So these two connect to each other. There's also Mind the Sequence, you've got End of Right, you've got Outsider, you've got If It Bleeds, and then you've got Holly. I haven't read all them ones yet. So Mr. Mercedes is the first one. I don't think it matters what order you read it in, but I'm trying to read them in the right order. So I've got Mr. Mercedes, Finders Keepers. Mr. Mercedes, basically about a guy that steals a Mercedes car. He runs into a group of people, then he starts sending the detective emails and threatening letters. Then the detective then goes out to try and find the killer, basically. Finders Keepers hasn't got the same serial killer in it, but it is the same detective, and then through the book he meets a girl called Holly. That's why eventually there's a book called Holly in it, so then she's a character that they introduced to it. Both of them, I would give them 4 out of 5. Finders Keepers weren't as good as Mr. Mercedes. Mr. Mercedes, really good book. Fairy Tale was one of my most recent ones. I'll give that a 5 out of 5, especially if you're into mystical creatures like Harry Potter kind of thing. That's a really good story. So that's about a boy that helps an old guy out with his dog. There's a portal in the guy's house that takes him to a fairy tale world. He keeps going back and forth from that, keeps bringing trouble back into the real world and the real world into that world. That's a really good book. And finally, the book that I'm reading now is The Stand. So this is the one I'm currently reading. Started it yesterday and I'm already 150 pages into it. Really good book, not gonna lie. I thought this was going to be boring, and because of how thick it is, I thought it'd take me a while to read it. I like to think I could read this in about a week's time. Up to now, it's just about a disease, kind of like COVID. There's a guy in hospital who can't get the disease, and they want to know why. They want to do a test on him. He don't want him doing all the tests, and then it keeps going into the backstories of the guy in hospital and a lady as well who we met up with. Like I say, not that far into it, but really good. I will do a video on this when I've finished it. And last but not least, I've kept my favourite book to the end. It's Misery. That is 100%, that's like a 10 out of 10 book. Misery is incredible. If you've never read a Stephen King book before, I would personally start off with Misery. If you wanted something small, start off with something like Coward Girl of Tom Gordon. That's what I did. But Misery is incredible. It's a good book. It's a good film. Basically, it's about a guy that writes books. The main character is called Misery in it. He writes a book, and he wants to start something new because he's just known for this certain character. So what he plans to do is kill this character off in his main manuscript. So he's driving to take the book to get it published. Crashes his car. A lady called Annie Wilkes rescues him. Turns out that she's his biggest fan. Turns out that she's a complete nutcase, and she keeps him locked up in the cabin. He's got broken legs, so he absolutely can't move, and it's basically a survival story of him trying to get out of this crazy lady's house. She goes absolutely mental because he's killing off the favourite character. He then she then tries to get him to rewrite the book to bring the character back to life. It's such a good book. My daughter will be doing videos as well, and that was her first book she read. She absolutely loved Misery, and I don't think there'll be anyone that wouldn't like the story. Even if you didn't like the book, watch the film. The film's incredible. That's basically it for my Stephen King versions. I will keep posting videos on. Subscribe, like, and leave comments on what your favourite Stephen King book is. Or if you want any more information on any Stephen King books, then leave a comment. Thank you for watching.